Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I want to highlight a Phoenix build that I've kind of been trying to play around with, which is having Phoenixes with shields as well as quantum reassembly. And the idea was to use that as a counter to something like Fortress AA because the shields make them quite hard to instantly one-shot, and then the quantum brings them back for a second round where again they will also have the shields, and then hopefully that will just allow them to kill the fortresses before all of them die. That was the main idea, and so this is a game where I managed to pull that off. Now we do decide to go for a pack here with some sledgehammers. We are a Typhoon spec, so we get the Typhoon there on round 4, which I plan to just use as a 300 resource bonus. Basically, I'm not going to try and play the unit in standard, but yeah, that should at least help us to kind of, well, give our comp a bit of a boost. With the sledges, I decided to go for 2 fangs, and we have a bunch of crawlers here as well. And what I'm playing for is basically some Vulcans, right? Vulcan Phoenix is a classic comp that used to be very good, but it's getting a bit outshone by Vulcan Marksman. And well, I wanted to give it a try, and then this was the build that I came up with. So as I want to go for Vulcan, I don't really plan to buy any arc lights, and so early on I try to prioritize these packs with sledges so that I at least have some form of chaff clear. My opponent here does have arc lights, and the Stormcaller pack is a giant specialist, so might be able to get into that type of build himself if he wants to, or play something like Arc Worm. All of those are very easy to get into with that specialist, so a very good pack, and he does manage to chip me down on round 1 to below 4k. Round number 2, Underground Threat is available. Wasp Swarm as well, and Intensive Training. Not sure if I will need any of this. Intensive could be good, but yeah, I want to skip, and the reason is I want to be able to get 2 Phoenixes down already, as this is something I can afford. The Vulcans are too expensive still, but at least I can get the Phoenixes as a piece of my comp. Opponent here only adds a Fang pack and some crawlers by the looks of it. So triple chaff deployment. Clever, considering I only have the sledges. And, well, 2 crawlers we were able to somewhat deal with, but this is a lot more. The good thing is, apart from this Fang pack, there is no anti-air. So even if we do get debuffed here, or if somehow, you know, I can't clear everything, as long as these Fangs don't arrive on time, the Phoenixes can probably just win the round. And yeah, left side is struggling somewhat, but managed to kill the underground without getting debuffed, and we still have some Fangs left. If we can kill this Arclight, we might just be able to get rid of those Fangs with our pack and the Phoenixes. Right side also now pushing in, so we should get a debuff. And that's looking quite good, I have to say. Phoenixes now from the other side also coming in to help. They clear the Stormcallers, and yeah, Fangs will go down. So a good round there. We didn't pick a spell, and we managed to win the round with the Phoenixes. I think one of them even picks up a level there. So very nice. Round 3, good item there shows up for the Giant. Barrier as well as Amp Core, but considering I want to buy Vulcans, I think Barrier here makes the most sense. Opponent goes for Amp Core. Also a great item for Giants, and I don't know exactly what he wants to build. I think Vulcan doesn't make too much sense when he already has Arc Lights, so maybe something different, but it's a nice thing to pick up. And then I kind of have to think, okay, what else do I want to do with my round? Because I kind of want to get this leveled, but then I'm stuck with 2 little resources to be able to actually buy a Giant. So I guess we're just having another small turn here, and just setting up for when we can afford the Vulcans, which should ideally be next round, right? I don't want to wait another turn. These crawlers are somewhat getting out of hand, so yeah, I can wait another round, as we will get free units as well on round 4, since we didn't get them this turn or the previous. But that is kind of the general plan. And I decided to go for more Phoenixes, right? I have this set up here with the shield and the Quantum. And Quantum works best if you have a lot of Phoenixes. Let's see how this goes. More Fangs picked up. And my opponent decides to go for some Phoenixes of his own. Has similar techs, but runs EMP instead of the Quantum. This means that he can't really deal with the energy shield. It will disable the other techs if he clicks it in the long run, but he'll still have to shoot my Phoenixes twice, which takes some time. And so the shield tech here should be very, very good, even if the Quantum could technically get countered by the EMP. Right side here seems to be losing. That Fang Pack a little bit too tricky to deal with, but left side is winning. And we will get debuffed, but maybe, just maybe, these Phoenixes here can run away far enough so that we don't end up losing the round. And looks like we'll just about be able to do that as we get the debuff at the perfect moment. And it's a small turn, but it's nice to not take any damage here as I'm still in the process of setting up my board. And we do manage to pick up a win on round 3. Now entering round 4, I have Typhoons available. And we get free units. So ideally I would have just sold everything here. Unless I get a Vulcan. But I don't think you can get a Vulcan on round 4. So I'm just going to have to take something that I want to run for a round. Now, out of these packs, the Rhino and the Scorpion are worth the most. Scorpion is easier to sell out of. But Farseer is only 50 less value. And a very strong unit in general, so it's nice to have it on the board for a turn or two. And considering I also want to sell something this turn, if I pick one of these, it'll simply take way too long to sell out of everything. Opponent decides to pick up the Melting Point, however, and puts that Amp Core onto it, so it's very tanky, 93k hit points. Yeah, I go for the Farseer, I sell out of the Typhoon, and that allows me to buy at least one Vulcan, and only one Vulcan from the looks of it. And I'm going to try and pair it up on the right side, as I should have the Farseer on the left to kind of help out with chaff clear. It's a support unit, and it does pretty much everything kind of pretty well. So hopefully with the Sledges and the Farseer, we should be fine on this side. We'll have to see. Barrier, of course, now has a home. So that's very nice. Opponent has range on the arc lights, buys more chaff, gets another Phoenix as well. And let's see how this plays out. Still haven't got everything I need. We do have another crawler here at the back this turn, so right side looks pretty much finished. Left side still needs a Vulcan and maybe one more chaff. And then once that's done, we can start thinking about techs. And once we have techs, we can start thinking about buying more Phoenixes. Vulcan on the right side doing a great job. That barrier tanking for a long time. And left side not doing too poorly either. I think that this melter will be too much of an issue, as it does now lock onto my Farseer. But at the same time, we managed to win the right side. Melting Point does level again. That Farseer worth a lot of experience. Let's see how this plays out. A Phoenix is locked onto the tower, so we will get debuffed here. That's somewhat unfortunate, and yeah, I don't think we'll be able to kill this Melting Point with just the Vulcan left. So that is a round that will go over to my opponent. And now we enter round number 5. Nothing too interesting here. My opponent does decide to go for Super Supply, which you can consider on round 5, but it is a bit late. It'll take 2 rounds to pay back. So round 6, round 7, and then round 8 is when he'll start to make some profit. I didn't want to put myself behind in resources for 2 turns, so I decided to just skip, and instead it allows me to get a bunch of techs with range on the Vulcan and range on the Phoenixes as well. We also have the final crawler pack here, so we now have 7 packs of chaff, which is a pretty solid, like, standard, I guess, for these type of long range games. You can get more, of course, but this is I guess like the template. Also decided to grab some oil. My opponent doesn't shield it because I guess he just wasn't expecting. And, well, shielding randomly just to prevent an oil is not a very viable strategy. So we get some good tempo here on the left side, burning those Stormcallers, burning most of the chaff. And I think with those Phoenixes remaining, we should be able to take this Melter out. Hasn't been leveled. And, yeah. That should fall. Right side still victorious, and that's a really good round from the looks of it. 2 Giants alive, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phoenix packs. Yeah, that sends our opponent down to sub 2k. Really good round. Round number 6. 3 units again. Nothing here looks too appealing to me, I have to say. I think I just want to sell. So in that case, Raiden, Sabretooth, and Rhino are all worth the same. Raiden, I guess, has the added value of having a higher unlock cost. But I don't see myself playing any of these anyway, so can just pick any of them, sell it, and then invest into my board. Opponent picks up the Fortress. And from the looks of it, wants to do that to get the anti-air barrage. So here we're facing the exact thing I wanted to try and counter with my setup of Quantum and Energy Shield. So let's see if we can make this work. Bunch of levels available. Underground available yet again as well. Opponent decides to use it aggressively, but I don't think it'll do too much. Although it might delay some of my units, which can sometimes pay off. Taking a very long time here. Kind of surprised with how long I'm thinking about this. I guess I was just talking to chat. Yeah, we do sell the Raiden there. And then we decide to get the levels and also the instant shields onto the Phoenixes. Elite recruits, 2 more Phoenixes. And I mean, look at this board. Never mind, 3 more Phoenixes. And suddenly we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 packs of Phoenixes. All of them but 1 are at least level 2. And they also have got the energy shield. The delay here is actually not too bad, as it should, yeah, it will bait out that first salvo. And yeah, you can see that with the energy shield, you are able to at least take 1 hit. But those Phoenixes doing a great job for my opponent. We do manage to take them out. They don't have range. And let's see, left side, it seems like those Vulcans had a really bad time. And sadly, that means not all of the fangs have been cleared. And so even though I think the Phoenixes here can easily kill the fortresses, they can't do that if I have no chaff clear left. And I have to fix this by maybe getting some more Vulcans that arrive late. It's probably a product of only having 2 Vulcans and also the fact that there was an underground available this turn. So yeah, a good round for my opponent. And well, with the Giants and the Stormcallers left, I also go down to sub 2k, and we're pretty equal now in terms of hit points. Round number 7. Bunch of items here. Some giant items. Absorption module, quite nice for my opponent. I decide to skip. Nothing really that I want there. And this does work on Fort AA as well, by the way. So any damage dealt with Fort AA will also heal the fortress for 90% of its damage dealt. Range on the Phoenixes now for my opponent to try and chip away at my Phoenixes that might still be alive after getting hit by the barrage. And then just more fortresses. Also, one of those fortresses is level 3 now, so that's kind of scary. Let's see if my Phoenixes have enough damage. I decided to pick up the 2 more Vulcans on the outsides. That's so that hopefully we can clear the chaff in case one of the Vulcans dies. We have a second one to kind of pick up the slack and clear all of the remaining units. As long as there's no chaff, I think the Phoenixes here should be able to do their job. I get more chaff here, so it's late enough now that I can kind of step away from the template and then buy more chaff. I decided to put it here on the left to make sure that these Vulcans don't get insta-locked. And that is all the deployments I have. We do have the Temp Ranger, obviously. I'm not loaning yet, though. My opponent is. And I decided to get the second attack enhancement on the tower. Hopefully having enough damage there on the Phoenixes to take out these fortresses. The level 1s get insta-locked, and they do go down pretty quickly. The real scary thing is this level 3 fortress on the left. The level 2 on the right is also quite tanky with the amp core. But that one looks like it might go down pretty quickly. We have a level 3 Phoenix in there, and yeah, that looks quite fine. Left side, a bit of a struggle. Fortress has healed up a fair bit from all the damage it took thanks to the absorption module, and I will end up getting debuffed. Luckily, I have a Phoenix there to delay the attack, and we should take out the enemy Phoenixes, and with that, I think we should have enough damage to take out this massive fortress. It does fire another salvo, taking out 2 Phoenixes, but we come out victorious, and with 2 Vulcans left alive, that's a good amount of damage. And my opponent is now sub 1k in hit points. Smoke bomb available. I decided to pick it up. For those of you that don't know, smoke does affect Fortress AA range as well if it does land. I decided to shield around my Vulcans. Don't want those to get hit. And now we take all the levels on the Phoenixes and we finally get quantum reassembly. I'm playing for a kill on this round because I know my opponent does have EMP, but I would have found it unlikely for him to click EMP preemptively. So I'm willing to take a gamble here, and I go for the 3rd tech, which should give me even more survivability, as my Phoenixes will now respawn after dying after 12 seconds. This can only be triggered once during a round, and it also only works if you still have Phoenixes alive, obviously, but they do spawn in with the same level they had, all the techs they had, so it's, you know, if this level 4 Phoenix dies, it respawns with the shield and full health. Opponent's very respectful of the spell there, more so than me. I think I should have shielded further up front. This is a mistake that a lot of people make, including myself. With these type of spells, usually people will put them further up front, so you need to shield further forward as well. And let's see, more fortresses have been added from the looks of it. No EMP on the Phoenix though, which should benefit me. And I decided to go for loose formation on the crawlers because my opponent's only chaff clears with arc lights and fortresses. And those have 7 meters and 5 meters splash respectively, which means that they do struggle against the loose formation crawlers. Yeah, this is looking pretty good here. We can see some of these Phoenixes starting to respawn behind their friends. And yeah, every time a Phoenix dies, it moves over to the next. We do get debuffed, but we trade. And now already some of these Phoenixes starting to respawn. Look at this clump over there of Phoenixes respawning with the shields. And that looks like it should be plenty to take out my opponent. And we do on round 8. So very interesting game. This is exactly what I was trying to test that day, and this is the one game where I did manage to pull it off. My opponent went for exactly what I wanted, which was the Fortress AA, and well, test successful, I would say. This does indeed work. Obviously, if your opponent has something like EMP on Marksman or Phoenix, it can get shut down, but it has a lot of survivability, and also it is a good gut shot in these type of scenarios, just like in this round. I think these techs are really nice. I find myself not really needing elite for the most part. I don't really need the damage if I have level 3 Phoenixes and above. And I like the survivability of something like Shield and Quantum. And then Charge Shot is just a tech that I really like if I play aggro, or if I really need something to die, like a high level Sandworm. I think it's a good tech. So I'm pretty happy with this tech bar, and I'll definitely try out some more. If you have tried this out yourself, please let me know down below what you think of it. If you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. And with that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.